Hello. Hello. Hello everyone. Welcome to another video. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to talk about some Spanish verbs and around 20, I would say we're gonna learn around 20 Spanish verbs. So before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. Also visit smlessons.com for more free Spanish lessons. You can download free crossword puzzles. You can purchase some flashcards. And yeah, all the links are in the video description down below. Also give this video a like. That helps me a lot. And I want to give a big shout out to BECK and STELLA Sabatini. They are CAFECITO members. Thank you so much, BECK and STELLA Sabatini. The coffee is delicious and the support is greatly appreciated. Okay, so if you want to get a membership on this channel, you only need to click on the join button down below and you can take a look at 3 different memberships, and that supports this channel, and also there are different perks when getting a membership. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so as I was saying a few minutes ago, we are going to learn around 20 different Spanish verbs. They're all very commonly used. They're important. Some of them are not like the basic verbs that people learn, but they're important to learn because they're commonly used. So remember that you can use the live chat if you have any questions, or if you want to say hello, if you want to just comment on the verb. You can share some examples as well. I can see some people already on the live chat. Alex MI306, hola, ¿cómo estás? Estoy bien, muchas gracias. ¿Cómo estás tú? Welcome, bienvenido. Such Ryan Much Gaming says, hola. I was just doing a lesson and I arrived here. Welcome, Ryan, Such Ryan Much Gaming. Welcome, and thank you for being here, both of you. And okay, let's get started. So these verbs are gonna be kind of random. We're not following any topic or anything, nor anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's fun to learn random words from different languages. In this case, we're going to learn verbs, okay? So let's look at the first one. So the first one is envolver. Envolver. Okay, and this is an irregular verb. And if you don't know anything about this, irregular verbs and regular verbs, irregular verbs have a peculiar conjugation, okay? They have a unique conjugation. And I mean, not in every tense, but in some tenses for some personal pronouns. And regular verbs are verbs that have pretty much the same kind of conjugation, just as other regular verbs. Usually the ending, when you conjugate the regular verbs, the endings are the same. Like they're like basically you follow a pattern, whereas irregular verbs, they have some, different conjugation. Okay, so envolver is an irregular verb and it means to wrap, okay? So, for example, if you are, I don't know, let's say you're wrapping some presents, you can use this verb envolver. envolver. Okay, remember, it's an irregular verb and it means to wrap. Okay, Alex MI306 says, gracias, muy bien también. Excellent, that's great. So that's the first verb. For example, I could say, yo envuelvo regalos, right? Yo envuelvo regalos. And, well, pretty much you can use envolver just as you use the English verb to wrap. So there's nothing too difficult about it. Just the conjugation might be a little different, okay? Because it's an irregular verb. So that was verb number 1. Now let's look at the next verb. Iniciar. Iniciar. This verb means to initiate, to begin, or to start, okay? And I have good news. This verb is a regular Spanish verb, so it follows a pattern, just as I said a few minutes ago. And it's very easy. This is a very common verb that you can use in different situations. For example, if you are about to run, if you're going to start running, you can use this verb, okay? Or if there is some sort of race, you can use this verb as well. If you see a group of people who are going to start running, you can use iniciar for that, okay? Also, if you can use iniciar when you want to say to begin, when you're beginning something, like a story or something like that. And also to initiate, it's pretty much something related to, get something going, let's get started kind of verb. So you can use iniciar in those situations, okay? It's a regular verb, so it's an easy one and it's a very common one. There's like different Spanish verbs. If you want to say pretty much the same thing, just as in any language, there are common or synonyms or words that are very similar and they can be used in pretty much the same situations. Empezar is one of the verbs that are very close to, or also it means to initiate, to begin, or to start. But it's good to know different verbs so you sound more natural in Spanish. In this case, we're talking about iniciar. Iniciar. So please use this verb. Okay. I see some messages on the live chat. Such Ryan Much Gaming says, not related to the lesson, but what is this program are you using? So the software that I'm using is just Photoshop. Yeah, it's just Photoshop. So yeah, that's the answer. And Alex MI306 says, ¿y cuál es la diferencia entre iniciar y comenzar? They don't have any difference, I would say. You can use either one. Just as I said a few minutes ago, you can use iniciar, comenzar, empezar. Empezar is another verb that means pretty much to start, to begin, to initiate. But yeah, so iniciar, comenzar, and empezar are very, very similar. So you can use either one. Great question. Okay, so let's move on. That was verb number 2. And, well, iniciar. That's a very, very good verb to learn. The next one is guiñar. Guiñar. Okay, so this has a peculiar pronunciation because of the letter ñ. Guiñar. Guiñar. And this means to wink. So yeah, it's a very simple verb. It's also very commonly used, especially if, if you want to wink, you can use this verb for sure. And this is another regular verb, so it's a little bit easier to conjugate. So, for example, if you want to, well, I just have a puppy here, little puppy winking. But yeah, you're winking, right? So, guiñar, yo guiño, right? Tú guiñas, él guiña. So yeah, this is a very, very nice, I like this verb. I like the pronunciation. And yeah, I just like the verb, the way it sounds and all of that. So yeah, guiñar means to wink. Perfect. Okay. The next verb number 4, is empujar. Empujar. Okay, empujar. And this means to push. So yeah, I mean, you can use this verb if you're pushing a door, empuje la puerta, or you can use this verb if someone pushed you. You could say, no me empujes, right? So this is another regular verb, and I'm not going over the conjugation of each verb because it would take forever. We're just learning the verbs, and if you want me to talk about some specific conjugation or verb and its conjugation, you can just let me know, and we can do that in another lesson. But yeah, empujar means to push. It's a regular verb, so that's very good. So if you're pushing something like this, big roll of hay, I think that's what this is. You can use, the verb empujar. Hello, oops, what am I doing here? Hello, Freeway. Hi, how are you? ¿Cómo está? Bienvenido. Okay, so this was verb number 4. Okay, so I'm just gonna drink some water. Okay, so I see Freeway is saying, do you speak Español? From which country? Well, that's a great question. My Spanish is, well, I am from Mexico. I'm Mexican. So my Spanish comes from there, but my lessons, I try to just teach some Spanish that will be understood everywhere. So yeah, I'm trying to do that. So if you're watching my lessons and you're wondering, is someone from Spain going to understand this, what I'm talking about? Yes, the answer is yes, they will understand. Sometimes I have lessons about, slang and such, but yeah, most of my lessons are just, very, very general Spanish. So everybody will understand you. Everybody who speaks Spanish will understand you. Okay, so that's a great question. So let's move on. Okay, so the next verb is apagar. And this verb can be used in different situations. In English, you have the verbs to extinguish, to put out, or to turn off. In Spanish, you only need the verb apagar. So it's just as simple as that. Yeah, so if you need to say to extinguish, to put out, or to turn off, just use this verb. This is also an irregular verb. The previous one was regular, but yeah, this one is an irregular verb, so it has a unique conjugation. So let's see the image. Yeah, so if you need to turn something off, like the light, you can use the verb apagar. If there's a fire and you need to put it out, you can use the verb apagar el fuego, or apagar la luz, right? And to extinguish, well, it's pretty much the same thing. You're extinguishing something, right? So yeah, apagar. That's another very important verb to learn. So Freeway says, I am good, and you? I very like Mexico, I assume. Mexico. Okay. Best regards from Poland. Oh, that's great. That's great, Freeway. Thank you so much for watching this video. But yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, so now let's see the next verb. The next verb is chismear. Okay, so this is a very funny-ish verb to use. It means to gossip. So if you see someone gossiping, you can say no chismes or something like that. This is a regular verb, by the way. So yeah, it means to gossip. So it only has one meaning, and that is very clear. You know that the meaning is just to gossip. So if you're gossiping, you can use this verb, chismear. Chisme, by the way, that means gossip, just a gossip. But the verb is chismear. So that's a very, very good verb to learn if you have that kind of situation. And the next verb is insultar. This means to insult. So the spelling in English and Spanish of, insultar and to insult, they're both pretty similar. So this is one that is easy to remember just because of that. And this means, and this is a regular verb. So this is another easy verb to conjugate. So if you have that situation where you are insulting someone, hopefully you don't do that, or someone is insulting you, you can use this verb for that. And this pretty much has this meaning, like this verb means just to insult. And yeah, you can use that in insulting situations or something like that. So I see Freeway says, I'm sorry I wrote Mexic in Polish, my mistake. That's great. It's good to know how Mexico is written in Polish. That's amazing. I had on my mind Mexico. Tell me about typical Mexican verbs, can you? Well, I think that will be a good topic for another lesson. Right now, I would like to continue the verbs that I have already here. But yeah, that's a great suggestions. I could talk about verbs that are used mainly in Mexico or some slang. Yeah. Okay, so insultar means to insult, and it's a regular verb. So that's an easy one. Okay, the next verb is acabar. And this means to finish, to end. Do you remember we talked about the verb iniciar? Well, this is acabar is the opposite of that. So to finish, to end. And this is a regular verb, so that's very good. And we can see if you're done working, if you're, you're done for the day, you're going home, or you just don't want to keep working, you can use this verb. You can say acabé mi trabajo, and then do something else, right? Or to finish, if you finished some project, you can use this. And yeah, essentially you can use acabar just as you would use the English verbs to finish or to end. Like it's very easy. It's a regular verb, so that makes it a bit easier. Okay, so Ryan Much Gaming says slang sounds like an interesting lesson. Well, that's great. Yeah, I agree. Freeway says, okay, I'm waiting for a new movie. Okay, well, that's great, Freeway. And Mr. G Man 92985. Hola, welcome, bienvenido. Okay, so that was the verb acabar. Verb number 9. So guisar. This means to cook. Okay, so if you're cooking something, you can use this verb. Usually in Spanish, one basic verb would be cocinar. But you can also say guisar. And this verb, I think it's used in certain Latin American countries. I'm not sure if this is used in Spain. So I'm just letting you know, just letting you know. And guisar is mostly, guisar refers to if you're cooking something that has some sort of broth, like soupy, something soupy, you can use this verb. Or yeah, if it's something saucy, soupy, for example, if you're cooking some stew, you're making some soup, you're making some more like complicated dish, you can use guisar for that. Because if you use this verb and you're making a salad, well, no, you're not cooking salads, right? So it's just the same concept. Guisar is for like when you put things on the stove and you're like making some elaborate dish, something more complex, right? Okay. To cook, this is a regular verb, and we can see, as I was saying, if you are making a stew or soup or some complicated dish, you can use this verb for that. Okay, guisar. Okay, I'm getting hungry now. Okay. Alex MI306 says, eres de México, pero sabes de buceo. Yeah, I actually have a lesson about el buceo. So if you go to my channel and click on the videos tab, you can find it. But yeah, I have a video about el buceo. Such Ryan Much Gaming, no entiendo, ayuda, por favor. Well, just ask. Just let me know. Okay. Okay. So Such Ryan Much Gaming also says his message, by the way. Oh, okay. I get it. And not your lesson. I understand that. Okay. Well, I mean, that's okay. Come on. That's okay. I'm glad you're understanding the lesson. But okay. So that was guisar, to cook. And it's a regular verb. Okay, let's see the next. This is verb number 10. And this is a very, very good one. I really like it because it sounds like you're saying araña, and araña means spider in Spanish. But yeah, there's a verb that this is not related to spiders nor anything like that, but arañar means to scratch. Okay. So if you have a cat, let's say you have a cat and that cat scratched you, you can use this verb for that. Or if the kitty is scratching something else, you can say arañar. You can use arañar. And this is a regular verb, so that's good. Arañar. So yeah, that's a very, very, I find it cute. I don't know why. Arañar, maybe because I'm thinking about cats or something like that. But yeah, arañar means to scratch. Okay, let's move on. Okay. The next verb is igualar. Igualar. And this means to equalize or to make equal. And it's also a regular Spanish verb. And well, if you're talking about, equality, you can use this verb. This is a tricky verb to use, but essentially it means to make equal, to equalize, to make things even as well. Just when you're talking about human rights or something like that, you can hear this verb a lot in politics. So yeah, this is a very, very, you might hear this from the news and so on. But yeah, essentially, igualar means to equalize or to make equal. To make things equal, or, like just about equality. And this is also a regular verb. So that's good. That's good. Okay, the next one. Escabullir. Escabullir. This means to escape. So this is an interesting verb because there's another Spanish verb. I think it is, escapar. Escapar. That means to escape, right? And it sounds very similar to escape. But this is another verb that you can use for that. Escabullir. Escabullir. So if you use this verb in situations where someone is escaping, or when you're talking about escaping, you're going to sound very natural in Spanish. You're gonna sound like you really know Spanish for sure. Escabullir. Escabullir means to escape. So if you're running away, you can use this verb. Or if you see someone running away, you can use this verb as well. And this is an irregular verb. So it's tricky, but it's not too complicated. Okay. The next one is atormentar. Atormentar. This means to harass or to tantalize. This is a regular verb, and well, this is this verb is not that nice if you're experiencing something like that. Well, it's not nice, but usually you're suffering. Essentially, this verb is about suffering, about if someone is, making your life difficult. You can use this verb, atormentar. It sounds like, this verb sounds like tormenta, which means storm in Spanish, but they're not related. This verb means to harass, to tantalize. Atormentar. Atormentar. Excellent. That was verb number 13. Okay, so the next one is generar, generar. This means to produce. And this is also a regular verb. So if you're working hard to generate content, to generate money, you can use this verb for that. Generar, to produce. If you're making money, if you're making content, you can use this verb for that. Okay, so let's move on. Generar, to produce. Okay, now the next one, verb number 15 already. We have only 5 more to go. This is corregir, corregir. And you have to roll your R's here. Corregir. This means to correct. And this is a very, very common verb to use, especially if you're learning a new language and someone is correcting you or someone is telling you how the language works. You can, they will probably use corregir, the verb corregir, corregir, to correct. And this is an irregular verb. You know what that means. And well, yeah, if you're correcting something, you can use the verb corregir. And they're kind of similar. To correct, corregir. Both verbs, the one in English and the one in Spanish, are quite similar. Quite similar. Okay, corregir. The next one is estorbar, estorbar. This means to be in the way. Well, this is one of those verbs that, it's a bit rude to use this verb. If you tell someone, if you say like no estorbes, that's kind of rude. Or you could say estoy estorbando. That means am I in the way, So yeah, estorbar means pretty much just to be in the way. If something is in the way, or if someone is in the way, you can use this verb for those situations. If you have a mess and you need to just put things back where they belong because they're in the way, las cosas están estorbando, the things are in the way, you can use this verb for that. Estorbar, estorbar. So this is another good one to learn, and it's a regular verb. Okay. We have 4 more to go. Imitar, imitar. This means to imitate, to copy, or to mimic, and it's a regular verb. So imitar sounds very, very similar to imitate, right? So if you see a comedian imitating or mimicking somebody else, you can use this verb for that. Or if you're imitating someone else, you can use this verb, imitar, imitar. Okay, and it's regular, so that's another easy one. Okay, moving on. Clavar, clavar. This means to nail, okay? And it's a regular verb. So this is a very simple one if you're nailing something, like a nail, nailing a nail, then you can use this verb for that. In clavar, that's pretty much the meaning of clavar, to nail. Okay, so you need a hammer, you need nails, and the verb is clavar. clavar, to nail. And that is a very, well, it's a regular verb, so it's an easy one, another easy one. I know that in English, to nail, that verb has like different meanings, but in Spanish, clavar is just to nail, like hammer, nails. And clavar in Mexico, I know for sure that clavar has also another meaning, and the meaning is when you are stealing something, you can use this verb for that. For example, if I say, mi amigo se clavó mi dinero, right? Mi amigo se clavó mi dinero. That means like my friend just took my money, or just stole my money, which is kind of, if someone does that to you, then that person is not your friend. But yeah, I'm just letting you know that clavar can mean also something else in Spanish. Also, it means to nail. In general, clavar means to nail anywhere in Latin America, in Spain as well. But in Mexico, this verb could also mean to steal something, right? Okay, so that's verb number 18. And the next verb is contratar. And this means to hire. It's a regular verb, and this is a very another easy verb that it has only one meaning, and contratar, to hire. So if you are if you're looking for a job and someone is hiring you, you could say me contrataron, or me van a contratar, estoy contratado. And that means contratar, that means I'm hired, like someone is hiring me, and so on. Contratar. And also this is a regular verb, so that's good to know. Contratar, to hire. And this kind of sounds like contract, like when you're signing a contract or something like that. But no, it means to hire. So contratar, to hire. And lastly, the last verb is girar. And this means to turn or to revolve. Okay, revolve. And yeah, that's the meaning of this. So let's say you're talking about the earth. You can say that the earth gira. La tierra gira. The earth, revolves. Or, like does this 24-hour turning. So yeah, that's very interesting when you're talking about planets, when anything that can potentially revolve, you can use this verb for that kind of situation. Okay, and that is it. Girar, to turn, to revolve. And also this is a regular verb, so that's good. And that's it, my friends. We learned 20 Spanish verbs that are commonly used. They're very important to learn, and they're random as well. So do you guys have any questions? Would you like to ask something about any verb? Would you like to share some examples maybe? Or what's your favorite verb, Spanish verb? By the way, tomorrow we are going to have another podcast episode, and it's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about Well, you'll see tomorrow. You'll see tomorrow. It's gonna be a surprise. I see MR Gman 92985 is saying, is girar, or asking, is girar the same as doblar? Doblar, no. Girar and doblar are quite different. Girar, as I said, means to revolve, and doblar means to fold, okay? So those two things are very different, but that's a great question. That's a great question. Thank you. So Alex MI306 says llamar, llamar. That's a good verb. I like it too. Llamar means to call. Also, if you're calling someone, right? If you're yelling their name, like, I don't know, Miguel, where are you? That you're yelling, but you're calling this person's name. So you're basically, you can use this verb for that, llamar. And also if you're calling someone, like, voy a llamar a mi mamá. I'm gonna call my mom, right? Llamar. That's a great verb for sure. Thank you, Alex. Such Ryan Much Gaming says, no, I'm good. My favorite verb is probably tener because it's so commonly useful. Thanks for the lesson. Bye. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Ryan, or Such Ryan Much Gaming. Tener is a tricky verb, but it's a basic Spanish verb, and it's very important to learn that verb for sure, and its conjugation as well. Thank you for sharing. Freeway. Oh, okay. Thank you. Alex MI306. Gracias por la clase. Adiós. Well, I'm glad you liked the lesson. Thank you. PS, thank you for great lesson. You're welcome, PS. Thank you for being here. And MRG Man 92985 says, so how would you tell someone to turn if they are driving? Would you use girar? The car. Okay, so if you want to tell someone, turn around, or turn and look at me, turn around and look at me. It's a different, I would say you can say something like, oye, right? Oye, ve aquí, ve allá. There is not like a, turn around. Somebody could tell you gira la cabeza, but I don't think I would not use the verb girar for that because I don't think it makes much sense. I would say more like, oye, ve aquí, ve allá. Like, look, oye, or oye is like word that you can use to tell someone, hey, pay attention, oye, or mira allá. So if you want to say something like that, you could use those words. If you have a more specific example that you would like to share, or if you want to tell me what you want to say specifically in Spanish, I can translate that for you. But yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I think now that I'm reading again this, if you want, for example, if you are, I don't know, in a car and you need to give directions to the driver and you want them to turn left or turn right, you can use the phrase dar vuelta. Dar dar vuelta a la derecha, dar vuelta a la derecha, a la izquierda. That is something that you could say. I don't know if that's what you mean, but you can say that instead of, some people could say gire a la derecha, gire a la izquierda, but it's more common to say da vuelta a la derecha, da vuelta a la izquierda, okay? So yeah, directions in Spanish is like a whole different thing, but yeah, it's interesting. That's a great question. Freeway says, thanks. Thank you for a lesson. Also, I'm sleeping. I'm sorry, I am sleepy. So good night. Buenas noches. Buenas noches, Freeway. Thank you for being here. Have a good night. Pendex Maximo, Chilean accent. Oh, okay. Okay, well, yeah, we could talk about that. We could talk about that for sure. Thanks for being here and thank you for suggesting that. Okay, turn left. Mr. G-Man 92985 says turn left at the stoplight. Yeah, you could say de vuelta a la izquierda en el semáforo, because stoplight in Spanish is semáforo, okay? Semáforo. So you could say de vuelta a la izquierda en el semáforo, okay? That is what you could say. That's a great question. But yeah, I could talk about directions in Spanish, like how to give directions. Yeah, that's a great thing. Great suggestion. Great idea. Thank you, Mr. G-Man 92985. Okay, TNE Ace, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. And that's it for today, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you so much. You're awesome. And also to everybody, like whoever watched this lesson, thank you so much for being here. Remember that tomorrow we will have a podcast episode around 8:30 or so p.m. Eastern time. But you need to click on the bell icon so you get notified every time we live stream. Also, subscribe and click on the bell icon. And you can go to smlessons.com for more free Spanish lessons, to download free crossword puzzles, and to just, if you feel like donating, if you like what I do, you can donate. You only need to go to smlessons.com and click on donate, and you can do that. Also, another way to support this channel is by getting a membership. You only need to click on the join button down below and just check out the memberships. There are different perks when getting one. And that's it. Give this video a like. That helps a lot as well. And have a good night, good evening, good morning. I don't know where you are, but thank you for being here. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Adios.